Hi there, this is Dr. Allen, and tonight I'd like to review with you the business operation manual that I have put together for my colleagues across the globe. And this particular manual that it has taken me almost 6 months to put together was initially made for group practices, and it was really customized by my office, where I would do the consultation and we would basically customize this specifically to the group. And it was priced at $8,000. We had two dentists who bought it, and most dentists would call me up and say, you know, we love your material, you love the content, but we cannot afford it. Is there a way you could do something for our small type practice? So I decided to make this into a semi-custom type of a manual where you can actually go in and adjust anything that you like on the manual yourself. And I have basically priced it down to $595. So it's very affordable for every type of practice. And tonight I want to discuss with you why it is important to have this type of a dental business operation manual for your practice. Number one, it is the constitution, it is the bylaws of your practice. So if you are training someone, or if you have as the number of employees, which most practices do, you do need to have documented systems and processes. And anytime you document and process systems, you actually add to the value of your practice. For those of you who may not be familiar with my work, I have been a dentist for almost 3 decades. The last 10, 15 years I have been in management, and I have switched career from being a clinician to a consultant, to a mentor, and I am a MBA investment banker. So I do help practices transition through. As a matter of fact, I help practices to scale to a point where I can attract private equity investors and so forth for their practices, and either help the doctors cash out or raise money for further expansion. So what I am discussing here is just one part of things that we do with our clients to basically increase their valuation, and that is to have everything that they do in the practice in a documentation format. So let me go through this content with you so you realize what I have. So you will see how this can help your practice. So basically we have table of contents, and I will go through them with you, but it starts with business information. Those are your company information. We have a section on greetings, how your teams should be greeting. And a lot of this is stuff that I already teach to my clients, team, and I coach a lot of the top executives in the company, how they need to actually mentor their different departments on greeting the customer and so forth, how the telephone should be answered, the financial policy, the dental records about the clinical notes, how complaints should be handled in a dental practice, the dental laboratory issues that come up, handling of the mail and shipping, instructions where you can actually insert photos of your laboratory, as you would see, how things needs to be packed so everybody on the team understand, hey, this is our standard, okay? How the inventory needs to be managed, you know? And one of the issues that is most dentists, they realize they need this. But just like when I was practicing, most dentists, they are absolutely busy treating patients and they don't have time to work on their business. So this tool gives you an edge to basically to be able to start documenting your systems. And we have many different sort of documentations that we certainly, if you're interested, we can certainly introduce you into your practice. We talked about medical emergency protocols, what equipment is needed, identify those equipments, the record duplication, what should be the fees for record duplication. Again, these are customizable to your own local laws and government, but they do need to be documented. Prescriptions, the marketing, and then we have some sections for like role play, and also for our dentists that are outside of the US who are Joint Commission International accredited. We have some information for their staff as well. And then opening and closing checklists. So going through this quickly, these areas all can be filled in by yourself, your office manager. So you put your name of clinic in, this is the company history. So to the staff understands everything about your company, because nothing is worse than a patient asking a team member something about the doctor, something about the company, and they don't know it, and the information is inconsistent. So with this manual, we want to bring consistency to your company about the company vision, the mission statements. What is your company milestone? Okay, and this information is something that is specific, and my graphic department would be happy to put the customized graph for the milestone for you. Very, very nice graphic. If once you order the document and you send us your information, then every staff needs to know what locations we have, what are the phone numbers. Everything should be right at the fingertip. The internal extension, if they want to call the lab, what is the extension? What is the extension for another location that you have, and the telephones may be interconnected. Directions to each clinic. For example, a lot of times patients, when they call, the team does not know how to give direction. They give address, but they don't give direction. So they need to know how a patient, what freeway they can take, what exit they need to get off, and so forth to come to the clinic. All the hotels nearby, the star rating, the rate, if you have any corporate rates with them. Then something else I have found many times is the team does not really know what the doctors offer in their practice. And that's like a shocking news. So a lot of times when we interview team, they say, oh, I didn't know my doctor can do snore guard, or I can do TMJ, and so forth. So it's very important that we have a section included so all of the information is there. Then we need to have all of the dentist biography and resumes. So when a patient calls, they want to know where your dental hygienist, for example, went to school. They have all the information, their cell number, their Skype, and more with technology. A lot of patients, they do want to have some sort of a, kind of a teledentistry done with the team. So all of that information needs to be at the recorded and at the fingertip of the administrative people. Then we go in the section of greeting. How do we greet patients, the visitors, all the general rules that I normally teach in my training courses. How do we greet patient when you are, serving someone and somebody else comes along? How do you take care of that? How do you greet new patients? How do you greet patients that have emergency needs? That's totally different, because emergency patients, they're usually in pain, and they are not really, they don't have an open attitude to waiting a long time or filling out a lot of paperwork, stuff like that. Greeting existing patients, how do we greet them? How do we build relationships? And I have a lot of scripts throughout this that can be shared by your team, and you guys can review it during morning huddle, and so forth. So, and you can actually customize this script to even more. Then about the telephone, how do we handle the sales calls that come in? A lot of times there's salespeople that call. How do you handle that? How do you handle the calls from the laboratory? How do you handle the calls from pharmacy? What if an employee receives a personal call? How do we handle that? How do we handle the proper use of the on hold button? Okay, the voicemail. What are some of the emergency room numbers, the hospital numbers? Everything should be recorded at hand. So it's not just, hey, you know, I jump in Google and I just Google it. You do need to have still these documentations, you know, in your system. What is the financial policy of your practice? Dental records and clinical chart notes. Why clinical notes are important. A lot of the staff and team members are not trained into writing notes. They don't know how to write notes. They don't know anything about, you know, the SOAP, the subjective, objective assessment and plan, you know. So this needs to be laid out for them so they understand if the doctor is following that, you know, how this should be written. Then we can insert the American Dental Association abbreviation. You may have your own abbreviation and so forth, but the whole staff needs to have consistent information so your documentation is the same. You don't want somebody to call something PFM and somebody else is calling it PFG, you know. So you need to have, you know, everything pretty much consistent. Then we can insert periodontal documentation, periodontal packet information. That's something else that if you're interested, we certainly can, you know, provide that for you as well. How we handle the complaints, the categories of complaints, how do we classify the complaints so not all the complaints goes to the doctor. Some of them can be, if it's less of a issue, it can be handled by just ordinary staff there. How do we put a peer review committee together? You can get a group of, you know, dentists in your community, and we put a peer review committee. So a lot of times if there's a complaint, it can just go to the local peer review committee within your community before it goes to your dental society, before it goes to your dental board, and so forth. How do we handle patient refunds? How do we handle the complaints that come in from another staff member regarding an employee? Then we get to the dental laboratory section. They need to be familiar about the communication, how we communicate, what are the important records that needs to be sent to the laboratory, what are each laboratory that we use, what are they good at, what's their main contact, the pickup point, how do we communicate digitally with our dental laboratories. Then you can insert your prescription forms in here. How we need to handle the outgoing dental laboratory cases as far as the infection control is concerned for different types of impression. How about you know, how are we going to have the cases transported? Are we going to ship it? If we're going to ship it, we need to insert photos of the packaging, how should we package and how we should, and we certainly can provide you the generic ones, but a lot of the doctors, they want to pretty much, you know, customize it themselves. How do we log in and log out cases? We can provide you a form for logging and logging out cases so the cases are not lost and they're all tracked. Handling incoming cases. When do we need to check them? So the patient doesn't arrive and the case is not here or it's not done correctly. Just a regular mailing. How do we handle the mails come in? What mails should be open? What should not be open? How we handle the UPS, FedEx, and so forth. Then we go on to the inventory, which is another big part of a practice valuation, and that needs to be done early on. It should not be done, you know, right before you're ready to sell your practice. This should be part of your regular documentation that your staff needs to document every equipment, the serial number with the brand, and also where it can be reordered if it's necessary. So those can be filled in. Why an inventory system is important, about the repair, who are some of the approved repair companies, how do they charge? Do they charge by the trip every time they come out, or is it by the rates? They need to be filled out here so the staff knows they don't just call anybody to come and fix the problem and give you a high expensive bill. Then we go through medical emergency protocols. What are the medical emergencies? And you can take my name out, put your name and credentials in there. And a lot of staff and team members, they're not familiar with what common problems are or medical emergencies in the dental office and what equipments we need. A lot of times the staff does not know, for example, what is an amber bag, and so forth. So this is important that for them to visually be able to identify these things and also have a emergency drug setup kit. I know you can buy those, big ones that they're very expensive and they come in the black, hard shell cases. I know there's a company in the U.S. that provides those, but these are some simple ones that you can actually do it yourself. But anyway, they need to be documented, even if you use that company that provides those for you. How do we prevent the medical emergencies happening? And then we go through the list of the common problems, that emergencies that can come up, and what the solutions are for those. Okay, and then we can go into the record duplication protocols. Now, a lot of the state laws in the U.S. They have very minimal fee for record duplication, but these are antiquated laws, and as more and more records are accumulated for patients. When a patient requests for record duplication, those minimal fee is not covered. So sometimes we have to ask the patient to fill out a form letting us know what it is that they exactly need, and we put the actual fee there. Okay. Prescribing medications, and these are most common medications that are used in the office, so the staff is familiar in writing it and preparing it or calling it in to the appropriate pharmacy there. Okay, and then you can fill in also the phone numbers for the pharmacy here someplace. I think I have it. Okay, yeah. So you basically also, we want to put in like storing and dispensing medications at each branch. Where do we need to store them? You need to know what the neighborhood pharmacies are, or at least the ones like within 5-10 miles of your practice. So when a patient says, I want to call the prescription, let's say to CVS or Walgreens or Boots, but depending on what country you're in and so forth. Then I got a section covered on sales and marketing in dental. So and with this, as we update this manual, if you have already purchased one and you're a subscriber, we will be sending you the updated version at no additional cost, no additional charges for you. So this manual is really meant to document the cases for you. For example, photography. Why do we do photography? And understanding the protocols. And you can take out, and I'm sure some of you guys have beautiful photos, you can insert it right in here. But again, the whole idea was to create something for small practices, not just for groups, that they can just go in there and they can put in their own information, and you probably end up using 90-95% of all the information in this book anyway. So with that in mind, if you're interested, again, this is JCI for people who are outside of the U.S. and they some of the staff members want to know what the JCI is, and then there's some opening and closing procedures and checklists and so forth. So if you're interested in this manual, you're welcome to have it. It is $595. if you order within the next 24 hours, I would be happy to send you one of my new books, 180 Practice Tips, which are basically a collection of practice tips for past 3 decades that I can share with you, and that would come as a gift free of charge. Okay, so click on the order button below on the email that you received, and you should be able to pay for this either on a credit card, PayPal, and we'll be happy to send this out to you. Okay, thank you very much.